Congratulations, Anthony, on this gallery opening you're about to have. Uh, let's start off with you explain to me how the process of you making this artwork happens.
Okay, well, so for this show in particular, I got here this week, and I'm basically living in the studio for the week, and just painting. So that's not normally how I do things. I normally do things gradually over long periods of time. So it's like I go out, experience life, get a life experience for 3, 4 weeks, and then I paint something. That's usually how I do it. This has been kind of a challenge, but like not really, just like an interesting new way of expressing myself. Because I'm having to just, I don't want to say force it, but I'm having to do a lot more of it, and so I have to figure out how to be directly vocal and talk about certain things to where they're all still cohesive in a collective body of work, but to where they're also different enough to that don't need, so that they don't need each other to be nice looking, so they still look nice on their own, but like also so that when they're presented together, they're presented like in a union.
Cool. I'm pretty new to the NFTs. How are NFTs and art kind of like how did they become one? What exactly do you do with an NFT?
Okay, well, so the thing about it is NFTs came out, I think 2017, maybe earlier 2015-ish. I want to say 2017 to be honest, but I feel like that might be wrong. But really, what the utility of an NFT doesn't necessarily have anything to do with art. Art is just kind of this catalyst that has brought public awareness to what an NFT is. And so that's one giant like misconception. Not saying you have it, but I'm just saying like in general, um, is an NFT is essentially a smart contract, and so you can have contracts between people. So you could view, so for instance, one of my NFTs would be like you buying a share of my brand as an artist, and when you sell it, I get a 10% royalty back. So it's like whenever whenever I make a secondary sell, I have a permanent 10% equity in my brand. But like you can take the stock, flip it, or you can take it, hold it long term. And so it brought this new utility to selling art.
Mhm.
I think art was probably the biggest, one of the bigger things that took off because of the metaverses like Decentraland or Crypto Voxels, which are basically 3D social media platforms where you can go and there's only one world in the world. So kind of like if you were to be on the Sims video game, but there's only one world, like in for the whole world, there's only like one place everyone in the world can go, and there's land for sale in that. And if you own land, then you can build there. And so they're really interesting games, and a lot of people, especially over the like last year or so, people have been congregating digitally. And so one of the things, going back to the previous topic, was it's really easy to display a two-dimensional object
Mhm.
in a third dimension video game. Um, and so that was one of the primary things that took off, because you could set it up as if you have your house, and you could decorate your museum, your gallery, whatever you want to call it, with all of your collectibles. And so it's really just another way humans can express themselves, kind of like little badges on Crocs. You know, I know that was like a decade ago, but yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense now. So with the NFTs the way they are, how does the gallery like change? What makes a gallery different now that you can have NFTs and digital galleries?
So the thing about it is, so like SuperRare is the marketplace I'm on, but they don't necessarily function like galleries. So the cool thing about SuperRare is they do take percentages of each sell, but where, like a nice gallery um, probably is going to take anywhere from 30 to 40%. Most of them take 40%, if not more. They usually take anywhere from 40 to 60%, but like a good rate is 40%. SuperRare takes like 15, I think. So that's a huge win, especially because, again, you get the permanent equity in your brand. So it's like there's artists that have been able to sustain themselves without having to create artwork because they can just keep their artwork selling in the secondary market. And so every time it sells, they get a royalty check.
Mhm.
And so I compare it again to like the music industry. The music industry is like a huge example of this because in most entertainment industries, it's usually like the artists that get screwed over, right? So like musicians didn't own their masters. They didn't even know it was a thing to do that, to make sure that was theirs. And so that was kind of the turning point, was when Spotify, SoundCloud, and like DistroKid and these self like independent uh I don't want to say labels, but they're like DistroKid would be a marketplace where you can upload your work and then put it on these major distributing platforms, which is something that you used to have a label to do. And so now artists can retain their masters and do this, and they can go viral on the internet, like TikTok or whatever, um, and keep their masters and do their own thing independently. That's pretty much what happened for artists. And it's like, again, NFTs is so much greater than art, and just like fine art. That was kind of like the major focal point in the media, but the capabilities of it are way beyond just selling JPEGs and PNGs.
Awesome. And with all that being said, this gallery opening for you, what does it mean to have an actual physical gallery opening, especially after such a long period of, pandemic and virtual meetings?
Yeah, so like I think it'll be cool. I'm excited to. So the biggest thing that I'm excited about for the in-person thing is I'm getting to kind of set the mood, versus like if I were to do this digitally, I can't get a fog machine, like I can't get certain elements that just aren't available technologically yet in those worlds. Versus here, it's like, okay, I can present, and the majority of the art that's going to be on display here is going to be the physical paintings. But the thing about it is, I've always thought physical paintings, there's no way you can really take a picture of a physical painting, display it online, and feel the same impact from it. So it's looking at a picture and then actually being in the presence of the creation, two totally different things. So like I'm excited for people to be able to like get to visually see the texture, the depth, the detail of each piece. Um, but also, more than anything, kind of create this little immersive experience for people when they come in.
Awesome. And how do you say the name of your gallery opening?
It's called Dichotomy.
Dichotomy. Perfect.
Yeah. So, oh my bad. Go ahead.
What does that mean?
Oh, okay. So like a dichotomy is basically when you put, it's like a juxtaposition, but not really like juxtaposition. But basically a dichotomy would be the living dead.
Mhm.
So like zombies, that's a dichotomy. It's putting two things that are totally opposite, but putting them together. And so that was kind of the subtitle, I guess, is digital versus analog. And so the concept behind the title was thinking of, to me, they're the same thing. To me, the digital layer is just a new level of depth that is still really new, and that the point of making art and the point of making great art is to take art and move it forward. And so by taking these paintings, and getting someone to animate them, or taking digital drawings and getting them animated, and doing these things, and and bringing to life what was just a dope ass like abstract painting in real life, but like whenever it goes and it, it moves, it breaks out of the painting and turns into this living thing. That's a whole new layer to it. And it's like, so the point of Dichotomy was essentially it's like living dead. So digital art hasn't been taken serious in the fine art world for years, and pretty much since it's existed, no one took it seriously. And it's really fucking difficult. My apologies if I can't cuss. I'm
No,
sorry. I should have
you're
been aware of
perfectly
that. But yeah, so yeah, it's really complicated work. I understand why the fine art critics, for instance, didn't feel as if digital art was a real art, because it doesn't feel as if it would have the same amount of passion and the same amount of effort that I guess splatter paint would have. And so like I kind of get the perspective, but I also don't get the perspective because it's all technical. Like even like you can paint something, but if you're a bad painter, it's not going to look good just because you're not technically good. And
yeah.
so it's like anyone can animate anything, but you have to get technically good at it to actually. So I don't know. I disagree there, but
Mhm.
that was kind of the thing, is like people are viewing digital art and fine art as these two separate entities.
Mhm.
And so basically it's like, no, they're the same thing. It's this is what the future is now. Like this,
Yeah.
once artists get rid of and let go of their Stockholm syndrome, they will realize that NFTs 1,000 times better than working with like major galleries and things.
Mhm.
And it's like, I'm not saying like obviously don't work with major galleries, because if a great opportunity comes, take it, because once in a lifetime opportunities are there. But I'm just saying be rational about it.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, that's kind of my spiel on that.
That's awesome. It seems that NFTs gave you a freedom to do a lot more with just the combination of everything, fine art and the digital side. So for you, what is your favorite part? Is it creating the digital or is it creating the fine art behind it?
So my favorite part is the creative direction. And so like I don't know how to animate, which I'm buying a computer part by part, but so I'm going to teach myself how to animate. But I have a MacBook, so animating or really doing anything is ridiculously difficult. Anything that is cool to do on a computer, I pretty much can't do, except maybe video editing. Um, and so yeah, so I'm trying to do that. But when it goes to the production of it, it's like, so the piece I'm launching at the show Friday,
Mhm.
that piece, the animator is an Indonesian artist named Puja, and so if you've actually seen so if you have I can like send this to you if you want to like put this on the screen or whatever. So there's a 2D drawing that is this kind of octopus looking thing, but then I gave it to Puja, and Puja took it and created and molded it into something completely different, but it's like the same thing.
Mhm.
But the two pictures are completely different. So it's like you can barely see the octopus guy's legs in the picture I drew, but in the one that Puja sent me, he's like walking on the earth, and so it's super crazy. But it's like just reaching out to him and being like, hey, let's tag team this and build this together. And then it was like, okay, well, now I've got this exciting three-dimensional loop that was originally this 2D drawing. And then I have a lot of musician friends. So one guy, he's a DJ and producer. His name's Holly. He was actually nominated for a Grammy this year, so that was dope. But yeah, so he took the animation and then created his own sound for it. And so we have like a 15-second loop sound from him. And so we all came together on this project that is, originally started off as just a simple 2D drawing on Procreate iPad, and we developed it into something that was, like a living digital creature.
That is so awesome. I can't wait to see that. But anyways, thank you for your time. I hope to be out there on Friday to support you. You seem to have a lot of talent. Your art is unique, definitely. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. This was great. I appreciate this.